Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church in Columbia, South Carolina, where we're part of the ELCA. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. In 2008, I wrote a Lenten sermon series called Crossed Hands, in which I embodied people around the cross and the role their hands played in what Jesus did. This Holy Week, I present these messages again to you. Today, the hands belong to Judas, and in his hand he held a coin. I carry it everywhere I go, this coin. I've held it and rubbed it so much that the face is almost worn off, and it's not much more now than a silver disc that I can't put down. I look at it. I look at it in my hand, and I remember. I look at it in my hand and know it was by my hand that it was done. The worst part of it is that I was the only one who understood. That's the worst cross of all to bear. In the beginning, things were so wonderful, so captivating, and a little mysterious, too. Time after time, we were amazed at the words we heard him say and the things we saw him do. We wondered at him. Who is this, we questioned, who can do such things and touch us so? And then, when he included me in his inner circle, when I became part of the 12, I couldn't have been happier. I did have my doubts about the others he chose. All of them, every one of them, were yokels from the backwater hill country. I mean, you would think he'd have wanted a more sophisticated group of followers than these simpletons. Somebody with education and world experience, I thought. Someone, I thought, like me. And then I thought, maybe that's why he has me. My worries were quickly confirmed. Oh, it was wonderful to be with Jesus day and night, to see him, to hear him, just to be near him. But the others, they never seemed to get it. Jesus would do something incredible like casting out a demon or healing a paralytic or feeding 5,000 people, and they'd all look at each other, their eyes wide and wild like dying cows in a hailstorm. None of them seemed to see the potential. None of them seemed to realize what was right before them, who was right before them. I was the only one who saw. I was the only one who understood. I just didn't know what to do. And then we came to Jerusalem. The crowds welcomed him with shouts and songs as he rode into town on that donkey. It was a happy time, although I wished we could have found a horse instead. We went to the temple and visited friends for the next several days. It was good to be back in the city. For the first time in a long time, I felt truly at home, although most of my companions were walking around and staring with their mouths hanging open. The place was packed, crowded with people who, like us, had come to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover. But as the week went on, I began to notice a change. I began to see people looking at Jesus in anger rather than admiration. I began to hear rumors about plots and schemes to destroy Jesus. And I began to be afraid for what might happen. I tried to talk to the others, but they didn't seem to grasp the danger. I was the only one who understood. And it was then that a plan came into my mind. A beautiful, wonderful, incredible, perfect plan. And this time I knew just what to do. I would arrange to have Jesus arrested. It was as simple as that. And the best part was that Jesus' enemies would be paying for the privilege of doing exactly what I wanted them to do. Here's what I thought. I had already heard that there was a reward for information leading to Jesus' arrest, 30 pieces of silver. I would claim it and then simply lead them to him. Now here's where the plan gets good. When they came to arrest him, I knew what would happen. Jesus would be forced to reveal himself. It was perfect. Jesus would reveal his true power and glory. The day before Passover, and the Messiah appears in Jerusalem. What an incredible, perfect opportunity. From that moment on, the Romans would be overthrown, and Jesus would be set up he would set up the nation of Israel to lead the world. And I would have been the one who brought it about. I would go down in history with him. At the very least, I thought, if none of that happened, if Jesus is arrested, then he'll be held in jail until the Passover is over and the crowd's all gone home, and then he'll be released in safety. Either way, everything is for the better. It was the perfect plan. So when the evening came, I led them to him. "Hail, Master," I said, greeting him with a kiss, full of faith and expectation at the moment that was about to come, happy to be the first one to greet him in his kingdom and as it was ushered in. And then I stood there with my smile frozen and then failing and my heart pounding, first with excitement and then in fear. Jesus didn't do anything. Everyone else ran away, and Jesus was arrested and hauled away. One of the soldiers smiled and pounded me on the back, and when he did, I heard the clink of the coins in my pocket. I stared after them in horror and reached into my pocket and pulled out this coin. What had I done? I tried to give the money back. I tried to stop what I had set in motion, but I couldn't. He was tried and flogged and mocked, and then, oh, then they crucified him. I saw him. I saw him as he carried that cross, and it was more than I could bear. I understood then that I would go down in history. In my hand I held the coin. By my hand he died. God be merciful. God be merciful. Could it be that he carried that cross even for me? Thanks for sharing these moments with me. And remember to let this day belong to God.